Excellences, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and colleagues.
Bienvenue.
Tere tulemast.
Welcome to the 8th International Conference on Cyber Conflict. My name is Anna-Maria Osula.
And my name is Pascal Brongetto.
And we are very glad to welcome you all here in Tallinn on behalf of the organizing team.
Since its humble beginnings in 2009, CyCon has grown from a sweet infant to a somewhat chubby youngster.
And the figures speak for themselves. We have full house like last year's, more than 500 participants from 40 different countries.
Thank you for choosing CyCon and making this conference series a tremendous success.
And without further ado, we are very glad to invite here on the stage Mr. Sven Sakkov, the director of NATO CCD COE, to deliver his very first CyCon opening remarks.
Sven, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. President, ministers, admirals, generals, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, CyCon. As previously said, raised to a chubby teenager. I will start my short story in 1st of November 1911. That happened during the Italian-Turkish War. Italian pilot called Giulio Gavotti smuggled 4 hand grenades into his monoplane, did not tell his superiors, did not ask for permission, and he dropped those 4 2-kilogram hand grenades over a Turkish military camp in Libya. 1st of November 1911. Then came the First World War. Air power was growing in importance. Only 7 years after Giulio Gavotti dropped his bombs, grenades, in November 1918, the father of the United States Air Force, General Billy Mitchell, said the following: "The day has passed when armies on the ground or navies on the sea can be the arbiter of a nation's destiny in war. The main power of defense and the power of initiative against an enemy has passed to the air." Then, of course, flash forward 2 decades, and air power was used against the enemy's center of gravity, bombing capital cities, bombing industrial heartlands. When Giulio Gavotti dropped his bombs, Turks were furious. They accused Italy of ungentlemanly warfare. They even filed a complaint pursuant to a 1899 Hague Convention, which had prohibited aerial bombardment from the balloons. The Italian government, of course, said that, hey, no problem, those were not balloons, that was aircraft, heavier than air. And even despite what General Billy Mitchell said, air power was integrated into a military effort, but it did not replace armies on the ground or navies on the sea. That just became another domain of warfare. The subtitle of this year's CyCon is Cyber Power. We will have a Cyber Commanders panel this morning featuring French, British, and Dutch cyber commanders. Educated guess has it that NATO heads and state and government who will be gathering in Warsaw for a summit in about 1 month's time will recognize that cyber has evolved into a domain of warfare. We will have at CyCon this afternoon one of the side events dedicated to NATO, Warsaw, and beyond. Of course, cyber power is not merely about military power. It's not only hard, it's also soft. The soft power of persuasion, the soft power of leading by example. I think something I would say, as an Estonian citizen, where Estonia, despite its size, is a superpower. Tomorrow afternoon, after the end of a last session tomorrow, there will be an optional event called e-Estonia, the epic story of e-state. Those of you, and I'm sure it's most of you, who are interested in how Estonia does e-governance, e-services, this event would be a good match for you. Now, some words about NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, CCD COE. I guess that many of you actually know CCD COE only because of a CyCon, because you're regular here. I do not know how much you know what else we do, because of course, conference is just one event in the year. We, and I mean 18 countries which have set up the center, soon there will be 20. We, at the center, we research, mostly in terms of volume technical research on technology, but also on law, on strategy, on politics. We then try to apply that research into training. We are a major training provider for NATO nations and the nations who have set us the center up. Mostly technical training in all different disciplines like forensic and so forth, but also course on international law, also operation level course for operational planners. We conduct every spring, this year it was in April, the exercise called Locked Shields, which is the largest, most complex and most comprehensive live-fire international cyber exercise in the world. It's a very fun event where, and I think this is probably the only exercise in the world where you just are not allowed to wear a t-shirt, but you have to wear a t-shirt. Because the teams, different teams are colored. Of course, the blue team, the defending side, is blue. We have attackers, the red team, yellow team for situation awareness, green team, infrastructure people have set it all up, and the white team, exercise control, charges, and so forth. This year, 20 teams took part. We announced only first 3. I'm very happy to say also here that this year's event was won by Slovakia, Slovakian blue team. We support NATO. We are not a NATO organization per se, but we are accredited by NATO, and we of course support NATO when so requested. Mostly when it comes to NATO exercises at technical, tactical, or operational or strategic level, including the biggest NATO cyber exercise, Cyber Coalition. And of course, we have this CyCon, which is, I think, one of the great cyber events in the yearly calendar of mankind. And of course, I'm a bit biased in saying that. During those 2.5 days, which are ahead of us, we have, besides what I already told you, a lot. We'll have panels on encryption, on aviation, on information warfare, on international law, etc. We will have many speakers who are household names in a crowd like this one, like Thomas Reid, Martin Libitsky, Mikko Hyppön, or David Sanger, Jason Healy, or Jan Tailin. Of course, as always, as every time, we will have President of Estonia, Toomas Hendrik Ilves. A bit sad is this year's CyCon because this will be the last for him as the President of Estonia, President of the Republic of Estonia. Has been a great supporter of a center and CyCon. Mr. President, always welcome back as a private citizen, President Ilves, in all the future CyCons what you can take. To recognize President Ilves' contribution to a debate, global debate on cybersecurity, we have also offered him not just a keynote, which is a standard, but also a President's panel tomorrow. Stay tuned, that will happen tomorrow in the morning. But now, without further ado, I will give you President Toomas Hendrik Ilves of Estonia.